This is the Pursuit of Wellness podcast, and I'm your host, Mari Llewellyn. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. Today is a Q&A. I asked you guys to ask me anything, and you absolutely did ask me anything. I took a quick scroll through the questions, and they are nuts. They really vary. So I really appreciate you guys always asking me so many questions. I feel like this is such a great way to see where you guys are at, give you updates, give advice, especially, going through IVF and, experiencing all these different things. So without further ado, let's hop into this Q&A. Skin update. So yeah, I guess a skin update. If you didn't know, I would go back and listen to some of my previous acne episodes. I had cystic acne for about 10 years on and off, had a really hard time figuring out why, and we ended up solving it by healing my H. pylori, which is a gut bacteria that is passed back and forth between you and your spouse. So Greg and I were completely unaware that we both had it. We ended up having to do a round of antibiotics and a gut rebuild. And honestly, my acne has not come back. Especially, I was very worried going through IVF and taking tons of hormones, being put back on birth control, doing all these crazy things. I've had a couple zits here and there, but absolutely nothing like what it used to be. I am still working on scarring. I have a microneedling appointment coming up. I'm, diligent with skincare. I get facials and things like that, chemical peels, but so far, so good. It's honestly so nice. And I still pinch myself every day that I get to have clear skin because it was such a brutal time for me. Other than doing the inner work with the H. pylori and the supplements and the gut rebuild and the colostrum and all that, I've found brands that I love. You guys know I'm obsessed with Clearstem skincare, which is non-hormone disrupting, non-pore clogging. I also love Clean Skin Club, which is amazing if you have a sensitive face and you want to dry your face. I actually brought them with me to Colorado, so you're not using dirty towels. And there's been so many tools I've used along the way, and I'm so happy. How long is the IVF process taking overall? Praying for you. Thank you, love. I appreciate that. So I guess I went to my first IVF appointment consultation at the beginning of December. We started injections right after Christmas, and we are done with all of the injections. We're done with the hormones. We've done with the egg retrieval. We have our embryos. We're done with genetic testing. So, okay, how many months is that? If considering the consultation, we're at 3 months now, and I'm still about a month away from the embryo transfer. So I guess you should be looking at a total of 4 months, but it is different for everyone. So it's definitely long. It feels long when you're in it, but in retrospect, it's not that long compared to how long we've been trying for. Have you tried Solidcore? A Bloom partnership with them would be epic. I actually haven't tried Solidcore. I've heard really good things. I do former Pilates here in Austin. Solidcore would be really cool. I feel like Bloom has partnered with Solidcore, but yeah, I think we have partnered with Solidcore, guys. So let me find out and let you guys know. At what point in IVF journey are you going to stop drinking caffeine? I haven't stopped drinking caffeine at all. I do plan on very much decreasing it leading up to the transfer, probably a cup a day. Right now, I'm a little bit addicted to coffee right now. And obviously I love our Bloom energy drinks for a pick-me-up as well. Yeah, probably quite soon I will cut it down to 1 cup a day, which will suck, but we will do that. And also fully cutting out alcohol. Just here to say that the juicy orange is fire, heart eyes. I agree with you, babe. It is my favorite flavor. How did you and Greg separate business from your relationship? Big fan here. Good question. I feel like our relationship, we started Bloom 2018 together. And honestly, I think building a business together as co-founders was actually very strengthening for our relationship. We went through a lot of really stressful times together. We still do. But it's very interesting because I feel like our relationship, we've been together for almost 11 years now. And I think this is the first time in our relationship that we've really shifted. We were very much co-founders for 5 years almost now, considering Mari Fitness and Bloom. And now is the first time that I've really taken a little bit of a step back because of the IVF journey. And it's the first time where like we really have different days and we get to share with each other what the difference in our days are, and we have very different jobs now. Yeah, it's like a very interesting time, and it's taken me a minute to kind of like shift with it and feel, we used to be in every meeting together, we used to travel for work together, we were attached at the hip. But honestly, I kind of like having the separation. I think it's good for our relationship, and it helps us be kind of focused more on being husband and wife. But I always say, I think with relationships, there's ebbs and flows. Like anytime I've been stressed about like us being co-founders or just any period of time with our relationship, I feel like there is seasons for everything. And I think us being co-founders for as long as we were was like a really cool, unique experience. And I think it taught us how to work together as a team. And I know that will come in useful in the future. And right now is a season of us just being like husband and wife. So I think it's really cool to just embrace those seasons. Can you eat eggs now? Yes, I can. I eat about 2 to 3 eggs a day, which is so nice. I actually have my own chicken coop and I get to eat my own chicken eggs, which right now, especially with the bird flu, is fabulous. All of you have been sending me chicken memes of them wearing Louis Vuitton and stuff like that. So my girls are very much thriving right now. We're not buying the expensive eggs out in the grocery store. And I used to not eat eggs because I felt like it was triggering my acne. And I feel like during H. pylori, it probably was. But now it doesn't seem to trigger me at all. And I love eggs. I think they're such a great source of protein. You're perfect or what I eat in a day. Okay. So I'll tell you what it is right now. I definitely go through phases and like hyperfixations. I have the tendency to get really fixated on certain things. But okay, right now, I'll give you an example of like yesterday or today even. For when I first wake up, I make my big jug of water with electrolytes, bloom colostrum, creatine, and ice. And that's what I drink when I work out. I make black hot Americano from our Breville coffee machine. I get a yogurt granola bowl from Swedish Hill without the honey. It is literally my hyperfixation. I don't know why. I've never been a huge yogurt girl. For some reason, I'm obsessed with this yogurt bowl. I get it every single day. Sometimes later in the day, I'll do 2 eggs and sourdough bread, or I'll do a rice bowl with rice, obviously, and a protein. Like I'll do beef, chicken, or salmon, and I'll do a little bit of salad with it. Sometimes I'll have a protein bar as a snack. And then for dinner, I love having tacos. I love having steak. Sometimes I'll have like quiche on a nice random day. Something definitely protein focused. And then lately I've been having dessert because why not? And I'm like treating myself. Okay, so we have these like little lemon bars. I'm obsessed with lemon bars. Like I'm seriously addicted to lemon bars. I'll have a little lemon bar or I'll have dark chocolate. And I have my pomegranate juice every day because it's great for the uterus lining. And Greg has also been making me this super bone broth, which is like really dense in collagen and glycine. And that's also good for the embryo transfer, to have something warm before bed. So that is my what I eat in a day. I started wearing Skims a few years ago and I seriously have not gone back. I am someone who, if you know me, I hate bras and underwear. I went years not wearing thongs because I hate how they feel. And Skims really changed that experience for me. They have a fits everybody high waist thong that just literally feels like it's a part of your body. You can't even feel it. And they also have a cheeky brief that I love to wear under skirts and dresses. They are seriously so comfortable, and I am someone who always wears my triangle bralette. It looks perfect under a t-shirt. You can't even tell, and it's so comfortable. You don't get that like digging in effect that you get from other bras. Plus, they all come in so many different shades for any skin tone. I think Skims is like the best underwear brand out there. Shop Skims best intimates, including the Fits Everybody collection and more at skims.com and Skims stores. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you, select podcast in the survey, and be sure to select our show, Pursuit of Wellness, in the drop-down menu that follows. If you come to my house, you will find tons of Maui Nui venison. My husband and I are such big fans. It is really the healthiest red meat on the planet. I'm very focused on getting my red meat in right now and my iron intake during IVF. Maui Nui offers the only 100% wild harvested meat that's completely stress-free and responsibly sourced. These animals are 100% wild, free to roam and choose their own diet, but they are also destructive, and their mission is to balance the axis deer population by being the only operation to wild harvest these animals in a way that benefits the environment, communities, and the food system. We personally love the meat sticks from Maui Nui. We also love the ground meat. It's so easy to just incorporate in your diet. And honestly, if you're afraid about eating deer, I was too. And it is not gamey and it's not intimidating at all. It's the healthiest red meat you'll ever meet, 100% wild harvested and stress-free. It's the highest protein to calorie ratio for up to 53% more than grass-fed beef. Their sugar-free peppered stick packs have 10 grams of protein and just 55 calories. They taste amazing. They're convenient for on the go. And I love the fact that they have a meaningful mission. There are so many amazing people in the industry who love them, like Dr. Andrew Huberman, Tim Ferriss, Dr. Peter Attia, and so many more. Maui Nui offers the only 100% wild harvested meat that's completely stress-free and responsibly sourced. It's perfect for anyone looking to elevate their meals with delicious, high-quality protein. Maui Nui Venison is offering Pursuit of Wellness listeners a limited collection of my favorite cuts and products, but supply is limited by nature of their work, so don't wait. Head to mauinuivenison.com/pow to secure your access now. Again, that's Maui Nui Venison, MAUINUIVENISON.com/pow, POW. Are you on Ozempic right now? No. I'm doing IVF. I'm not on Ozempic. I feel like I'm getting a lot of questions about that. Definitely not. I'm currently in a window of time where I'm leading up to an embryo transfer and taking progesterone, taking estrogen, taking a bunch of different things to set my body up for success. And Ozempic is something that can lead to, I mean, there's just not a lot of studies on it, right? So it can lead to birth defects. It could lead to complications in pregnancy. So definitely not. And I want to answer that because I'm getting tons of questions about it. And I just want to be clear that no. And I don't think that that's, like, we've had a few episodes on here that are about how it can be useful for trying to conceive, but I definitely don't think it's studied enough. And it's not something that I think anyone should take during IVF. Do you ever worry about regaining all the weight you have lost? Honestly, no. I feel like while I'm someone who's definitely health conscious and very like mental health conscious, losing 90 pounds in 2017 was just like, I can't describe it. It wasn't like just a weight loss journey for me. It was such a life overhaul and like such a big part of finding out who I am and such a mental, spiritual journey for me. I've never looked back. It was never a question of like, oh, I'll go back to the old me. It was like, no, this is who I really am and this is how I'm the happiest. So no, I never worry about that. I know that this is like, I'm wondering if you're asking that because of pregnancy, and no. And that's not something I really worry about. And I also just love nutrition so much. I think food is like medicine. So I'm really excited actually to like embrace that side of it. You achieved a lot in a few years and stay humble with your feet on the ground. I think it's trauma related, honestly. I feel like I've never been the most, like, even as a kid, I was always like a little unsure of myself, a little like shy, a little insecure. I feel like I've never been someone to be like the loudest in the room or the most confident. And I've had to do a lot of like confidence building over the years. And I think I still struggle with some imposter syndrome just because of like how I grew up. I never really anticipated being like a big business owner or anything like that. But I think it's, you know, I'm very in touch with, first of all, Greg. Greg and I have been together forever and we've seen each other at our worst and at our best. And my family keeps me very grounded and they roast me. I don't get any special treatment, that's for sure. And I feel like the people I surround myself with keep me really grounded. I think it's also just like, I don't really understand the concept of like feeling like you're better than everyone just because of business or finances. You know, when someone shows up with a certain character, like that's how I would judge them. What are some of the best things Greg has done to support you through IVF? Everyone shows up in their own way and has their own love languages. I think for me, him supporting me going to church with me, making me bone broth, helping me make sure I take my pomegranate juice, measuring all my injections for me every night, holding my hand through it, taking care of me after my egg retrieval, giving me, encouragement and support and just being there for me as my partner. And just going through this with him has been such a crazy, wild journey. And, both of us want it so badly. So yeah, I think it's just nice to have a partner in the whole thing. Favorite jewelry purchases? That's a fun question. Okay, Greg got me these earrings for our anniversary. It wasn't a purchase of mine, but I feel like I wear them every single day and I think of him. And then there's also a brand called, I never know how to say it, but it's like Horse and Boons or something. It's a high-end jewelry brand, but they're like horse themed. So everything's like looks like a horse bit. So I have this like chunkier one and then I have this thinner one. And it of course reminds me of horses and I just absolutely love them. So I feel like I've gotten way more into jewelry recently. I used to not wear any and now I'm like obsessed with it for some reason. Also, I did a post about this on TikTok and everyone agreed with me, but like IVF makes you shop more in a dangerous way and I couldn't figure out why. I was like, why is my shopping getting so bad? And I texted my friend who's been through it before and she was like, oh yeah, like I grew my purse collection like tenfold during IVF because you're being so patient and all you want is like instant gratitude. So the shopping has been interesting. I'm trying to watch it though. I'm trying to be the best in the kitchen. Share your cutting board, please. Thanks, Mari. I just use wooden cutting boards. I mean, I try to avoid the plastic ones because every time you cut into those, like little bits of plastic are getting in your food. So I really try to do just any wooden cutting board. Someone asked for my favorite activewear. So as of late, I have been obsessed with Adanola. I think that's how you say it, Adanola. It's a British activewear brand. I'm wearing the leggings right now. Oh, and the socks. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I get the matching sets, the leggings. They also have tall leggings, which are absolutely incredible. What else do I like? Crop Shop Boutique is always a favorite. Form by Sammy Spalter, my good friend. Aviator Nation. I mean, it's not really activewear, it's more sweatpants, but my friends own that as well, and I'm obsessed. I like Set Active sometimes, but really Adanola is like my favorite right now. Tips on how to be more in my feminine era. Some people get mad when I call it the feminine era, but what I mean is like, as I was saying, I think either in this episode or a previous one, is like I've felt such a big shift in my life lately going through fertility. I used to be so masculine. Like I was such an intense person, which I so respect and I'm so grateful I had that period of my life. But I would wake up, like sit up out of bed 5:30 in the morning, roll into gym clothes, get to Gold's Gym, do a crazy HIIT workout until I was like laying on the floor, get to the office, be there late. Like my schedule was by the 30-minute mark. Yeah, I was like fully in adrenaline fight or flight mode 24/7. And I think, building a business, like sometimes you need to do that and you need to be that way. And I did that for many, many years. And I think I definitely hit burnout. I definitely realized going through this fertility journey, I wouldn't be able to function that way. Just number one, from a physical health standpoint, it's not good for you. But number two, like just mentally, I couldn't do it anymore. So I think to me, being in my feminine era is about like being, and I'm still trying to grapple with this because I, for some reason, have a lot of guilt. I think a lot of my self-worth was like wrapped up in achieving and like business achievements and just like doing the most and doing more. And now I'm kind of like, okay, well, why else do you love yourself? And it's like a really good test. And not having guilt about being slow, I think is a really big thing. I hope that answered the question. I am not someone who generally grabs a bag of chips. So many of them are made with seed oils, artificial flavors, and preservatives. And as you guys know, I went on a long journey with fitness that's been so life-changing for me. And I guess along the way, I tried many different diets. I tried eliminating different things. And it can be tricky. It can be tricky to make it too restrictive and not enjoy your life anymore. And that's why I love brands like Masa. They make amazing chips that are made with just 3 ingredients: organic nixtamalized corn, grass-fed beef tallow, and Redmond sea salt. That is it. No seed oils, no weird additives, just real food that actually supports your body. This is incredible. I love beef tallow. I use Redmond sea salt every day. And I love the fact there's only 3 ingredients in these chips. They are so freaking delicious. I have a whole pantry full of them. You can dip them in guac, hummus, have them on the side of a salad, whatever it may be. I love the fact that it's no bloating, no guilt, just good food that's good for our bodies. I love to be able to eat things that I genuinely enjoy. Maybe I'm watching a movie or hanging out on the weekend. And masa is just one of those better options. They don't leave me feeling sluggish or inflamed afterwards. They're just truly good. I'm all about eating a way that's balanced and sustainable, and it fits perfectly with my protein-packed meals, with guac, or just straight out of the bag. I'm also someone who just loves salty, crunchy food, and this is perfect for me. If you want to try masa yourself, head to masachips.com and use my code MARI20 for 20% off your order. Trust me, you'll never go back to regular chips again. Why is it so important for women to take creatine? I mean, I did a whole episode on this with Dr. Gabrielle Lyon recently, if you want to go back. Creatine is the most studied supplement there is on the market. It's really good for hydrating muscles. It's really good for cognitive function. I actually stopped taking it for a little bit and I just started again because I definitely noticed a big difference. I personally think it's really great. Thank you for your podcast. I've never been so passionate about anything. That's really nice. Thank you so much. How to overcome feeling uncomfortable or embarrassed at the gym. That was something I definitely dealt with at the beginning of my journey. Like I remember leaving in tears or just feeling like everyone was staring at me or I was doing something wrong. I think the biggest thing is to just know. I think there's a few ways I could answer that. From an emotional, mental standpoint, just knowing that everyone there is there to better themselves. If you don't start at the beginning, then where do you start? Everyone was a beginner at some point. You have just as much right to be there as anyone else. And I promise no one's looking at you. And if they are, that's weird on them and they should be embarrassed. I feel like something I had to realize is everyone is just there for themselves. You're there for yourself. Don't look left and right. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Just think about yourself. And practice makes perfect. No one's perfect when they first try. It's so admirable of you to just show up in the first place. So something that actually helped me though, from like a tactical point of view, is I would wear a baseball hat super low. So I like couldn't look at anyone else. I would wear big headphones to detract people from coming up to me. Not that people were like coming up to me. I mean like men. You know, big headphones, and also having a plan of action. So I wasn't just sort of like wandering around trying to figure out what to do. I knew exactly what I was doing. And if the gym was really busy, I would just go to like an empty corner with dumbbells and do an entirely dumbbell focused workout. I completely get why you would ask about that. Do you think you guys will stay in Texas? I definitely do. We love it so, so much. Do you have PCOS? And if so, what age were you diagnosed? Technically, yes, I have some symptoms of PCOS. I think someone first mentioned it to me when I was like 27, but PCOS is really interesting because it's such a bundle of symptoms and so many people meet the criteria for PCOS that I find it very confusing and I don't like fully agree with it. And I also think it's somewhat manageable with like nutrition and lifestyle. So I don't want anyone to feel like discouraged if they get that diagnosis because I think so many of us have it, and I also think a lot of it has to do with being on the pill for so long. Do you ever miss the East Coast? Only in the summer. I feel like East Coast summer is amazing. I'm sure we'll end up there at some point this summer. Greg's family lives on Long Island. We love the North Fork, so yeah, in the summer I do. How many kids do you want? I don't know. At this moment, I would just be so grateful for one. But who knows? Maybe 2 or 3. We'll see. How do you think Lulu and Arnold will be with a baby? Lulu is like a little like nurse. She's so emotional and like sweet. Such a female pit bull dog. She has been around babies before and she's very sweet with them. Arnold, I feel more concerned about. I feel like he'll be maybe jealous and like he's also scared of kids because he had a kid grab him once at the airport and now he's scared. So I might have to get a dog trainer. We will see. Do you struggle with Arnold peeing everywhere? No, that is not an issue that we have, thank goodness. But he did eat a whole squirrel 2 days ago. I came home and he had a squirrel tail hanging out of his mouth. What is your guilty pleasure? I mean, I don't know if I really have one. Probably like lemon bars. I'm not really like guilty about it though. Maybe like my fantasy novels, but I'm not guilty about that either. What is important to you in friendship, and how do you balance time with them and yourself? Ooh, I think important in friendships to me is like balance. I feel like a friend that asks me questions as much as I'm asking them, showing up supportively for you in like your good moments and your bad moments. I think that's very telling, like clapping for you when you win, showing up when you're struggling. I think for me, like as someone, when I'm struggling, I sometimes isolate a little bit, like having someone reach out, someone who's down to literally just get a coffee or do a workout, nothing, I'm not necessarily like a big party girl. So someone who's down to like make sourdough with me. I feel like I have friends, different types of friendships with all my friends, and I feel really lucky to have the friends I have right now. Advice to release perfectionism. I put so much pressure on myself. I feel like perfectionism can delay like us reaching our goals sometimes. I always say, if you have a dream, just start. Like that was such a big thing for me with the business. So I feel like when I look back on our first products, I'm like, oh my goodness, why did we put those out? But if you wait too long and wait for it to be perfect or wait for the perfect time, it will never happen. So sometimes it's better to just get out there and try it, and you'll learn as you go. So yeah, I think I will conclude our Q&A here. Thank you guys so much for the questions. I really appreciate it. Thank you for listening, and I can't wait for the next episode. Bye. Thank you for joining us on the Pursuit of Wellness podcast. To support this show, please rate and review and share with your loved ones. If you want to be reminded of new episodes, click the subscribe button on your preferred podcast or video player. You can sign up for my newsletter to receive my favorites at marilewellyn.com. It will be linked in the show notes. This podcast is a Pursuit Network production, brought to you by Michaela Phillips, Joel Contartese, Daviel Waldner, Jen Lauren, and Mackenzie Mizell. You can also watch the full video of each episode on our YouTube channel at Pursuit of Wellness Podcast. Love you, Power Girls and Power Boys. I will see you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team.